Hi guys, welcome back to Dave Astrology. Today we are coming up with the annual predictions for the year 2026 for the sign of Taurus. Now you can watch this video both for Taurus rising as well as for Taurus moon sign. Now unlike other signs like Pisces, Aries and Aquarius who are undergoing through Sadhe phase, 2026 is going to be an year which is going to be not about survival but growth. Your Yog Karka planet, which is Saturn, he tends to rule your ninth house of fortune and 10th house of your career. And it is placed throughout the course of this year in your 11th house, in the house of wish fulfillment and gains. Therefore, you are going to see that this is one of the most powerful transit throughout the course of the year, which will help you reap benefits of your efforts, of your destiny. Then again, you have the opportunity to turn your words into gold because Jupiter will be moving into its sign of exaltation in your third house. He is currently in your second. And this is going to be an opportunity, a tremendous opportunity for you, Taurus sign, to ensure that you bring in your courage, your ideas, your speech, your communication to its fullest result and make full use of it. Now, I've broken down this video into key segments, which is quarterly, Jan, Feb, and March as the first quarter, second quarter for April, May, and June, third quarter for July, August, and September, and then the last quarter in October, November, and December, where we'll try and examine that what are the key events that can be anticipated through the course of the year and how should you prepare for this important year ahead. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into your annual predictions. Now, folks, 2026 chart that I've presented for you, it essentially depicts three key planets, which is Saturn, Jupiter, and Rahu Ketu. I'm combining them into one because most of the other planets will be making the transits over monthly course, and we will deep dive into each of them through the course of our monthly Vedic readings that we release. However, the three powerful mega stories for 2026 is that number one, Saturn is going to be acting as your great manifestor. He is the lord of your ninth and your 10th house. And Saturn is the only planet which is not undergoing any kind of transit throughout the course of 2026. It is going to be stationed in the sign of Pisces itself in your 11th house, which means that it is transitioning three places away from itself as the ninth lord into the 11th house and second place to itself from the lordship of the 10th. And therefore, what it promises is that there is going to be a steady and consistent fulfillment of wishes, achievement of goals, transformation in terms of the success that you've been aspiring for with your continuous effort, plus the support that you are going to get through your destiny, through your fortune, through your luck. And therefore, you must look forward to make full use of what Saturn is promising. He happens to be the Yoga Karka planet for you folks, Taurus. It is important for you to note that he will be becoming retrograde through the course of July to early part of December, around 27th of July, if I remember the dates correctly, till about 10th, 11th of December, where he remains retrograde in your 11th house itself. And thereby, you will see some outcome from the 10th house or from a previous house perspective as well. The second mega story is going to be that what I would call as your mega voice from Jupiter's journey. Now, Jupiter happens to be your eighth law of transformation, of learning new things, wisdom in general, spiritual enlightenment. But he also happens to be the lord of your 11th house, which means that he governs wish fulfillment, gains, desires. At the start of the year, you will find this Jupiter sitting retrograded in your second house itself. Second house placement of Jupiter is not at all bad. In fact, it is considered to be a significator of abundance, good fortune, good amenities coming in your life for your family, and financial success as well. Placed here, he is giving an aspect back to his own sign of Sagittarius. as well as your 10th house, which means he is going to help you establish, balloon, grow your karma, your efforts, the energy that you bring, the status that you are going to receive from the social world, as well as his aspect towards the 6th house, which helps you to overcome difficulties and challenges with your own wisdom, with your own thought process. This Jupiter will continue in retrograde motion till March, but post that he will be becoming direct and eventually he becomes exalted in your third house. And then it's sign of exaltation, one of the best placement. Yes, it's a Maran Karaka placement, but being Jupiter, it's a good situation to be in because once he gets into an exaltation in the third house, he promises your wisdom in your formal, oral, written, as well as speech in your communication coming to the world. It also denotes that you will have courage accompanying you, helping you throughout the course of this period, wherein it will be coupled with wisdom, with thought process. It is eighth to the eighth movement coming into its sign of exaltation, which means this is going to be a fabulous period for you to enhance your health. It is going to help you forge better relationships with your siblings in your neighborhood, in your community, and help you take up some, knowledge driven hobbies as well. And the third mega story, which is the pivotal shift, karmic shift coming into picture when Rahu and Ketu will be doing their transit in the last part of the year on December 5th, where Rahu will transit into the sign of Capricorn from your 11th, 10th house to your ninth house, whilst Ketu will be shifting in from Leo to Cancer from your fourth house to your third house. And we will deep dive into the impact of this coming into the last quarter in detail. Now, as we start with your first quarter itself, which is Jan, Feb, and March period, you will notice that this is a period that denotes sort of career peak coming into picture, peak in terms of your efforts, energy, support of your destiny, as well as unlocking of your financial gains. Now, why do I say that? First and foremost, you have to understand that Rahu is currently placed in the sign of Aquarius in your ninth house, which brings tremendous amount of ambition, self-belief, hunger, and the ability to do something big. Rahu's placement has been here for a while and will continue for the rest of the 11 months of this year itself. And this will ensure that you will look forward to embark on long distance journeys. Many of you students watching my videos could also take certain new, post graduation courses in a foreign place in a distance far away from your current location. It is also going to enhance your romantic life or your interest towards pursuing new romantic connections. This is also going to be a period where Jupiter is sitting retrograded in your second house, it being a benefic planet, and his heightened Cheshta Bal in the second house does ensure that you will be putting in extraordinary amount of effort in terms of your karma, in terms of your career, to make sure that you achieve the objectives that you are chasing. Yes, there could be situations where you might notice that the effort required to achieve your objectives could be multiplied. And because retrograde planets tend to bring tendencies of repetition, rework in nature. But that is not a bad situation to be in because he is also giving an aspect towards your sixth house, as I mentioned earlier, which means that you will try and avoid unnecessary confrontations at your workplace as well. Then he is giving an aspect towards the sign of Sagittarius in your eighth house. And therefore, learning new things, upskilling yourself, and getting the support of either your in laws or your spouse, if you are a married person watching this video, is going to be very positive. Then what we notice is that between Jan 16th to Feb 23rd, Mars is going to be transiting into the sign of Capricorn, where he will also be getting exalted. Now, this is going to be a powerful surge in energy, which is going to come into picture with respect to your ninth house assets. And thereby, there could be some sudden gains, sudden opportunities in terms of benediction from your bosses, superiors, seniors at work that could come into picture. People who are self-employed entrepreneurs, they could see some client who could come up with very interesting and enticing opportunity for you to grow your business. You could get support of your father, your gurus, mentors, teachers, guide if you are watching this video as a student. And this will be a superlative period in terms of you exercising your efforts towards foreign travel, towards post graduation education, towards new association with leaders that could impact your life in a positive way. It is also possible that your own chart could be supporting the growth of your superiors. Many of you could come in touch with a highly powerful teacher, mentor, guide, or boss. Your boss could also find promotion during this period. If you're a business person, this is going to be a period that is going to reflect in terms of gains of your customer and thereby trickling down gains for you as well. So be mindful of this particular event. Then you have to also understand that between Feb 6th till March 2nd, you have multiple planets, including your Lagna Lord, or if you are watching this from a Taurus moon sign perspective, your Rashi Lord, Venus also transiting into your sign of Aquarius. Now, Venus coming into the ninth house, being the first lord in itself, is a very powerful event because he is going to, create a very powerful and dynamic Malavya yoga for you in conjunction with Rahu. The important bit is that Venus also happens to be your sixth lord. So, some sort of difficult situations, obstacles, challenges could come at your workplace or argumentative situations with your leaders as well. And this is where you will have to continue to maintain some degree of discipline, patience, and perseverance. But the good part is, if you are able to hold on to those levers, your ninth Lord Saturn is sitting in the 11th house in a direct position itself. Yes, he is giving an aspect towards your Lagna, towards your first house. So there is going to be a slight bit of delay in things working out in your favor, but they are bound to move in the direction that you would aspire for. As you move further, you see that there is going to be a tad bit of a glitch coming into play between Feb 26th till March 21st. This is going to be a period where Mercury happens to be retrograded in your 10th house in the sign of Aquarius. Now, you have to understand, guys, that Mercury happens to be the lord of your second house and your fifth house, stationed in the 10th house. So, it's a good Raj Yoga in itself, but Mercury's retrogression is always challenging because this is where you have to look forward to controlling your communication, how you are articulating your thoughts with your family members, with your near and dear ones, with your romantic partner as well. There could be some miscommunication, challenges, disturbance because it's the sixth movement as well coming in for the fifth lord into the 10th house. Difficulties that could come in your relationship, and those difficulties will be spellbound because of you know misunderstandings arising for your miscommunication itself. So you will have to be very watchful during this phase. The second bit is that this is a period that you should not be looking forward to do any kind of major signatures, decision makings related to your karma. No matter what walk of life you come from, you're a employed person, you are self-employed, entrepreneur, business person, in education, any kind of major decision making, signing of any kind of documents has to be done after continuous check and recheck. But as we continue to move further in the month of March itself, you will realize that March 11th is going to be roughly the time where Jupiter is going to become direct in your second house. Now, Jupiter becoming direct is going to give an immediate impact in terms of you ensuring a rise, you ensuring stability of some sorts in your family environment, in the savings that you are maintaining. Your bank balance is definitely going to see a rise for all the efforts that you've been putting in through the course of the start of the year. And the planetary positions in the sign of Capricorn coming into picture are giving a signature that there is going to be a definitive support of your luck as well. And this is going to be the period, the last 20 days of this quarter, where you start actionizing, you start reaping the benefits of things that were not working out, now transiting into conclusion. Jupiter in the second house also denotes that some sort of unlocking of family wealth or income could come into picture because Jupiter is giving an aspect, direct aspect now to your 10th house as well as your 6th house. So it's a positive indication coming into play with good dietary habits, good inflow of money, and general peace of mind within your personal space itself. If I were to sum up the main focus for the first quarter of the year for you guys, Taurus, this is going to be the period for you to unlock your career growth, bring in greater visibility of your efforts, ensure that you maintain a calm and composed communication strategy, as well as enhance your financial inflows throughout the course of this quarter. Now, the second quarter, which starts from the month of April for you guys, is going to bring in some enhanced superpowers, if I may say, for you guys, Taurus. First and foremost, you have to understand that Q2, or April, May, and June is going to be a period which is going to bring in your personal charisma, your capabilities in terms of wealth stabilization, your ability to communicate yourself effectively and efficiently, not only to your family members, to your dear and dear ones, but also to the public forum in itself, thereby building your own kingdom of sorts, if I may say. In April, around April 19th to May 14th, what you will notice is that your ruler Venus is going to be transiting in its first house itself in the sign of Taurus. Now, your Lagna Lord or your sixth Lord coming into your first house does denote that, first of all, it's a strong Malavya Yoga coming into picture in the first house itself. Then it denotes that this is going to be a period where you are going to be focused towards your health, your vitality. There is going to be a certain degree of magnetism, confidence, attractiveness, physical beauty that could be on the rise for most of you. But at the same time, Venus is not just the lord of your first house, he also holds the rulership for your sixth and is making 8 places shift into the Lagna. This means that there could be some sudden shift, transformation, change that could come into picture for you if you are a working person, if you are employed. Now, this is going to be a period that can promise some sort of positive gains, unexpected gains coming in your career, in your job as well. People who are struggling with respect to loans, litigations, any kind of health issues, you will also see a lot of respite coming your way with the transit of this Venus in your Lagna in the April mid to May mid duration for you. Remember, Venus will continue to get an aspect from Rahu, and therefore, that expansionist mindset, that propulsion of sorts with that energy of Rahu is also going to be coming into picture. All in all, Venus's aspect towards the seventh house will also promise that you will not just focus on towards your beauty, your personality, but you will be taking along your partners, your spouse, people that you collaborate with on day-to-day basis. And this is where I say that you will truly start unlocking your capabilities. You will become much more receptive as well as amicable to the people in your surrounding. As you move further between May 29th to June 22nd, you are going to notice another positive Dhan Yoga coming into picture, where Mercury, which happens to be the lord of your wealth, of your second house, is going to be transiting in your second house itself. Now, if you notice, he also happens to be the lord of your fifth house and is doing a 10th movement in your second. And therefore, this is going to be a time where your financial intelligence, your decision making with respect to matters associated to your near and dear ones, your family, the kind of food you're consuming, the kind of hobbies that you are pursuing, anything related to your own communication will be at its zilt, will be at the pinnacle, and you will be able to condition yourself thanks to the support that you got from Venus, your Lagna Lord, your Rashi Lord in the previous month, that you will be able to carve that stature, that personality, that skill, which makes you extremely amicable. With the 10th movement of your fifth lord, you will also be bringing some creative pursuits. You could be thinking of doing, any kind of auspicious event, some kind of activities that bring leisure and satisfaction, not just to you, but also your family members during this period. You will be extremely prudent with your budget management. You could leverage your own speech, your communication, your negotiation skills. As I mentioned, because Venus will be giving that ability few weeks back, being the sixth lord coming into the Lagna to bring in new job, work, career, uh, you know, uh, divorce settlement, legal settlement kind of opportunities your way, you will use your negotiation skills as well, your communication skills as well, to make things either to an amicable closure, or if it is about new beginnings, to have something negotiated that brings a lot more success to your direction. Then the mega transit, the main event for the second quarter of the year, is going to be Jupiter's transit into the sign of Cancer in your third house. As I mentioned earlier, Jupiter happens to be the lord of your 11th and your 8th. And if you notice here that the shift of Jupiter into the sign of Cancer is going to be from June 2nd till 31st of October. This is going to be a period where people who are associated with communication related capabilities, people like you and me who are, say, on Instagram, on YouTube, on social media, mass communication related activities, you are going to hone your skills and bring the best out of you. The brilliant part is that Jupiter sitting here is going to be giving an aspect towards your seventh house, ninth house, as well as its own 11th house in the sign of Pisces, where Saturn is stationed, your Yogacara planet, and thereby multiplying the impact of all of this. Whilst Rahu is sitting in the ninth and giving an aspect to the Lagna, making you ambitious, this transit of Jupiter is promising that you are going to use your wisdom, your wit, your knowledge, your communication, your writing skills, your own hobbies for that matter, which allow you to pursue anything which is not physical by nature, but more strategic or tactical by nature, more sort of mind driven activities, communication driven activities, to bring you gains and success. This is going to be a brilliant time for you, Taurus, to make sure that you materialize any kind of ambitions, targets, goals that you've set for yourself. It will be a great time to start a new venture, to write a new book, to publish articles on social media, to release your videos, to do marketing related activities, as well as bring in creative juices that help you succeed in this way. Remember, Jupiter's presence in the third house is not at all a bad position for people who are in their own entrepreneurial journey, who want to build something of their own, because that gives them the opportunity to be persuasive, be convincing. He is giving an aspect towards the ninth, to your clientele, towards your leadership, towards your bosses. Yes, it's a debilitated aspect, but I will still consider it to be a positive one. More importantly, with Rahu also sitting there to bring in expansion for you in this space. However, the last part of the quarter, which is around June 29th, is when you will see a slight glitch with Mercury again becoming retrograde in the sign of Cancer in your third house itself. And this is where, in the last week of June onwards, where you'll have to be a little more careful. Any kind of decision making, any kind of formal communication sent over email, what you speak over mass media, over YouTube, over social media communication channels, through your written as well as oral communication, could land you in trouble, or might require you to put in some investments, some money, spending of your own income, of your own savings, to repair those problems. I would not recommend you rushing during this period. This is also going to be a period where travel journeys for many of you could get impacted. Any kind of contracts, especially related to new projects, must be looked into. This could also be a period that might bring in confrontational situations with your siblings, with your neighbors, and therefore you might have to just take a step back. But the good part is that since Jupiter will be exalted and he is doing his true transit this time around, it's not a teaser that you are going to see during this period with Jupiter's transit. Yes, he's in Atichari movement, but at least Jupiter's present is going to be less overwhelming with whatever you navigate with. If I were to sum up what you see from a Q2 perspective, you are going to see an enhancement of your personal charisma, your confidence, your ability to convince people around you. You will be, smart in terms of your financial acumen, in terms of your strategies as to how you can save and invest your resources better. And this is also going to be a brilliant period for you to launch new initiatives, to get started with things that you've been thinking, that you've been planning for a long time, but they have not materialized through the course of this period. You have to remember that Saturn is already sitting in the 11th house. So he will continue to reward you, albeit those rewards could come with a slight bit of a delay. And what do I mean by delay here? It's not a negative connotation of any sorts, guys. It essentially means that this Saturn will expect you to continue to pump in your honest efforts. He is getting the support of an exalted Jupiter, and he is your Yoga Karka planet, thereby giving you a lot more stability in the goals and the ambitions that you're trying to chase. Now, your third quarter, which starts from July all the way till September 30th, is going to be a period which is going to bring some degree of domestic bliss, peace, and satisfaction, coupled with a karmic dip. What do I mean by that? First and foremost, what you're going to see is that this is going to be period of certain degree of contrast coming into picture. While you will be enjoying a great time, some sort of joy in your home, in your family life coming into picture, especially given the fact that from July 4th till August 1st, you will have Venus, which is your Lagna Lord, as well as your sixth Lord, transiting into your fourth house in the sign of Leo. Now, Venus in the fourth house is not at all a bad position to be in. Yes, he is in the inimical sign of Leo, but still, it's a beautiful placement because it is going to bring in some degree of satisfaction, happiness to your life. This is going to be a period where you are going to see that luxuries, spending money for your happiness, for people around you, acquiring some sort of assets, something that uplifts your stature, something that uplifts the comfort that you want to witness either for yourself or for your family members is going to come into picture. And therefore, there is a high probability that you might end up spending money towards luxury in the form of a heavy vehicle. It could be a luxurious vehicle that you might acquire. You might go ahead and make certain changes with respect to your home front. Purchase of property is less of a probability, but for some of you, if you are going through the dasha, antardasha in your natal chart as well, it could give you that promise. At the same time, Venus's placement here does bring certain degree of empathy, compassion, your focus towards comfort, towards your peaceful life, towards your emotional satisfaction. That is going to be your top priority. You could work towards the health improvement of your mother. Your mother itself could see some sort of a development coming in for her, but at the same time you will be focused towards providing comfort of some sort, which may not necessarily mean material comfort but also emotional support. Your sensitivity towards people around you in your vicinity under your dwelling is going to increase. As you move further through the course of this quarter, you will notice that Saturn is coming in a retrograde position in Pisces in the month of July itself, on July 27th, as I had alluded in the start of the video itself. Now, this is going to be the period where your Yoga Karka planet Saturn, being the lord of the ninth and 10th, getting retrograded in the 11th house, is going to basically ask you to review whatever gains, wish fulfillment, whatever achievement of objectives that you've had, the income that you've been able to generate, the ambitions that you've been able to chase, or the social network itself in which you are living, because that is what is also seen through the 11th house, your friend network, people coming in from your professional connections. What sort of a worth does that hold for you in your life? You might also have a feeling during this period that your gains that you were anticipating, that whatever had been going out in a structured fashion, panning easily for you, might now require some bit of an additional bit of an effort, because this Saturn will give a retrograded aspect towards your first house as well. So it is going to be very crucial for you to understand that whether or not your efforts have been going in the right direction, because this retrograded Saturn, being a malefic planet, yes, he is Yoga Karka, but being a malefic planet is going to test your mettle on all those fronts. There's also a possibility that some age old friends, people with whom you had lost your connection with, you were not in touch with, they might suddenly reappear in your life, and they could be seeking your support and help, or maybe, in terms of old business partnerships as well, they could be seeking some sort of a connection coming into the picture, because it's going to be a retrograded aspect towards your eighth house. So you will have to figure out that where your karma lies in terms of collaborating with those people or not collaborating, because Saturn will continue to ask some key fundamental questions. Are your ambitions justified? Is the vicinity of the people, the network of the people truly supporting you? Do you need to reevaluate your relationship, your connections with those people? Now, I'm not saying that this is a period of denial of any sort of gains, but there is going to be a definitive delay which is possible coming into picture, and it is going to only test your mettle and resolve to achieve that, because the retrograded aspect to the Lagna is also going to bring in, or involve some sort of investment strategies coming into picture. Throughout the course of this retrograde period, you must have a watch on Jupiter, as well as how Mars will be transiting, because he's your 12th lord. And we will deep dive into that when we do the monthly readings. As you move further, you see between August 1st to September 2nd, there is going to be the movement of Venus into the sign of Virgo in your fifth house. Now, this can potentially be a difficult or challenging month period for you, because your sixth lord is now going 12th to itself in debilitation, as well as your Lagna lord coming into the debilitation. However, because it's in a fifth house placement, that's a good position for Venus to be in. One, on positive side of things, you will be bringing in additional amount of efforts in your relationships, in your romantic connections, towards your education, studies, in your investment portfolio, in terms of your creativity as such. However, the results, the outcome of that depends completely on what is the strength of your loving lord Saturn, Jupiter in your natal chart. Venus will be giving an exalted aspect to your 11th house. Remember, when he is in debilitation, he does give an exalted aspect to the 11th into the sign of Pisces. But it also means that your expectations versus your efforts could be sky high. It might be difficult to meet those expectations, especially if you are a working professional in a job. There could be some challenging situations that could come in your career. There could be obstacles that could come in terms of any kind of loans that you are working towards, any kind of litigation matters that you are dealing with. You will have fulfillment of your wishes, but it may not be to the ultimate desire, because your Lagna Lord in itself is sitting debilitated during this point in time. The key action that I would suggest is that this is a period where you must keep low energy. Do not get into speculative strategies when it comes to your stock market investments and stuff. However, your kids could become your focal point. There could be some areas of concern that you might have to focus towards. When we get into that timeline, we will also talk about that, whether or not it is going to be a conducive period for progeny and child planning. As you move further, you see that between September 2nd till October 3rd, you are going to almost have a regain of that power, because now Venus again is going to be transiting into the sign of Libra in your sixth house itself. Now, Lucky Lord coming into the sixth house, or Venus in general in the sixth house, it's not a very comfortable position for a benefic planet like Venus to be in, but it is crucial for you to understand that when he comes into the sixth house, he is going to somehow resolve the concerns, the challenges, the problems that you were facing in the month before, whilst he was in debilitation. Now, your issues at your work front, with your colleagues, with your peers, the competition that you are facing, the issues that you have if you're a student watching this video, in your preparation and stuff, will translate into a more strategic approach. Your focus, hyper focus, I should rather say, is going to be towards your career, towards your competitive situations, towards tackling your health related matters as well during this point in time. All in all, the months from July, August, September are giving a promise of navigating the home life, emotional aspects of your life comfortably. There could be some romantic and creative dips that could come into picture at the same time during this period. And Saturn retrograde will start asking you questions, that where are your priorities in the long-term scheme of things, and how you've been working, putting in your karma, along with the support of the destiny that I'm providing you. Where is your priority? And if you are able to evaluate this comfortably, it is going to be a good yoga. You have to remember that Venus is forming harsh yoga in, when it's coming into the sign of Libra in the sixth house. So you will definitely be able to overcome your enemies. You will be able to resolve your conflicts, and you will be able to do that with empathy, with strategy, with uh, planning. And it is not going to be an aggressive win of Shatruhanta that you see with a Saturn or a Mars or a Rahu placement when they are transiting towards the sixth house. Now, as we traverse towards the last 3 months of the year in 2026 for you, what you are going to notice is one key event coming into picture around October 3rd, where your Lagna Lord or your Rashi Lord Venus is going to become retrograded in the sign of Libra in your sixth house itself. And this is crucial event coming into picture, which is going to be roughly 40 days of duration. First thing that you have to understand is that this is going to be a bit of a change period in terms of your health, in terms of your work, in terms of your daily schedule, the regimen that you follow, and there could be certain degree of disruption that could come into picture either from an internal or from an external event in your life, Taurus. So you will have to be watchful during this period. I anticipate that the retrogression of Venus, though, is not a bad thing because benefic planets like Jupiter or Venus, when they get retrograded, they do not have major ill effects. But the fact that it is coming in your sixth house, you can anticipate some sort of a shift coming in your health, given that he's your Lagna Lord as well. This is going to be a period where you have to be continually focused towards your fitness, towards your health regimen, towards the kind of food that you are consuming as well. At the same time, this could bring certain degree of challenges, obstacles, difficulties for people who are in working professions, who are employed somewhere. There could be some degree of miscommunication, being taken for a ride at your workplace, asked to do, over and above beyond your job description. People who are students watching this video, you could have disruption in terms of your competitive strategies. In fact, even for founders, if you are an entrepreneur watching this video, you could find difficulties where wherever you are competing, there is a rework of sorts that is coming into picture, and things might disrupt your work life balance to a certain extent in this period. Now, this is the time where I will recommend you guys that you must keep a check on your body. You must be hyper focused towards your health. Rest, everything can be sorted out because he is your lung lord, which is getting retrograded. So he will still try and deliver the best in your case, Taurus, versus any other zodiac sign. Then, around October 31st, end of the month itself, you will notice that Jupiter in its Atichari movement will now be entering into the sign of Leo. Yes, he will transit into a few degrees and he is going to give you a similar teaser of what you've seen in 2025 with Jupiter's exaltation. Jupiter getting into the sign of Leo is going to bring in blessings for you folks with respect to your fourth house, because now the planet of expansion, abundance, well being is coming into your fourth house of home, mother, happiness, your assets. And this is where you need to connect the dots that people who are venturing out in terms of purchasing a new property, or if you've done a purchase of some kind of a vehicle or an asset in the previous quarter itself, like we were talking about it, there could be some loan related issues, some mortgage related issues that could also come into picture because of Venus's retrogression. So your botheration could come with respect to finances or your job front or health front. But at the same time, Jupiter is definitely recommending that there is going to be some sort of a positive promise of emotional satisfaction, mental peace coming into picture. Jupiter is definitely going to bring in expansion. So there could be delays, challenges that you might find with respect to finances, but this is going to be a period where Jupiter is going to give you a hint or a push that would you want to go ahead and expand your knowledge base, learn something new, expand on your abilities and your creative mindset, as well as bring a certain degree of transformation with respect to your spiritual bent of mind. He is giving an aspect both to the 8th as well as your 12th house sitting in the 4th house. Yes, he gives an aspect towards your 10th house as well. So work related challenges with Venus being in retrogression have to be kept in mind through the course of this period, because Venus will be retrograded from October 3rd to roughly mid of November, whilst Jupiter will enter in the sign of Leo, the fag end, or effectively from November itself. But then, you see how interesting and happening this quarter is, that in the last part of the quarter, the last part of the year, on around December 5th, you will see the grand finale of things coming into picture with the biggest transit of the year, which is the movement of Rahu into the sign of Capricorn, whilst Ketu into the sign of Cancer in the ninth and the third house, respectively. Well, Ketu coming into the third house does bring certain degrees of, um, you know, introvertedness, going into a shell in itself as well. Jupiter had been sitting exalted there in that sign, but right now Jupiter is going to be in your sign of Leo, whilst Rahu is going to be in your ninth house, which means that the obsession that you've had, the amount of time that you've been giving towards your career, towards your karma, towards the efforts, is is going to diminish to a certain extent. But at the same time, Rahu is going to give you a sense of higher ambition. It could be a spiritual ambition, it could be a higher goal that you would want to set for yourself, because he brings in ambitions, he brings in illusion, he brings an insatiable appetite to the table. And sitting in the ninth house, giving an aspect towards your lagna as well as your fifth house, your crucial aspects of life are going to get impacted there. It will bring in the possibility for many of you to start planning, strategizing about foreign travel, long and short distances. Some sort of leisure is what you are going to look forward to during this period. But at the same time, this is also going to be a period where there could be a shift in your belief system. You might look outwards and see what else can you learn and what can you inculcate in your life to bring that change that can be affected with a new mentor coming in your life, a new boss from a different location, different background, ethnicity, etc., or your mentor, guru's father, for that matter, could impact your entire belief system during this period. There's also high probability many of you could embark upon long distance pilgrimages as well, in the quest of wisdom in terms of gaining something for yourself. Whilst Ketu's placement is talking about that you would now prefer to speak less, there is going to be a lot of introspection. A lot of people with Ketu in the third house, don't get me wrong, they could be very smart communicators. They really know what they have to articulate and express, but they like to look inwards. And that is what this Ketu's shift is going to be sort of teaching you or promising you in conjunction to that Rahu bang opposite in the next house. At the same time, around the December 11th to 13th period, if I remember the dates correctly, Saturn is going to turn direct again. And this is where the review that I was talking about, the questions that Saturn was asking, you would have come to a certain conclusion. You would have come to a certain strategy as to what is working out for you and what is not working out for you. And this direct approach of Saturn is going to be a far more rewarding shift, far more rewarding transit for you, because you will now continue to work on that stability of income, growth, wish fulfillment, desires, with a streamlined flow of the foundation that you've laid with the retrogression period of Saturn in the previous quarter, or in the first couple of months of the last quarter, October, November period as well. All in all, I see that this is going to be a profound year of transformation, change, career growth, positivity in the year 2026 coming in. It has to be coupled with the support that you can anticipate with your natal chart, Dasha, Antardasha going on. From a remedies perspective, I would recommend that, during the Mercury retrograde period, which is happening in your 10th house in the career in the first quarter itself, Vishnu Sahasranam, or doing any kind of spiritual activity on Wednesdays is going to be highly effective. You must look forward to chanting Guru Mantra as well during the course of throughout the year on Thursdays, or whatever works for you, howsoever you feel aligned to that. Doing any kind of charitable activities, donations to temples, places of worship, or for student community as such, is going to be another positive activity. And because your Lagna Lord, your Rashi Lord is Venus, doing puja of Durga Shaptashati, doing any kind of Devi's worshipping is again going to bring a lot of positivity in your life. It is going to relieve you, alleviate the pains, the challenges that you might face once Venus is in the sixth house as well as retrograded. Well, I hope, folks, that this video makes sense. It has given you ample of clarity of how the 2026 year is going to be turning out for you. If you like the efforts that I've put in terms of bringing out the details and structuring this out for you, I would request you to please share in your comments, give me your feedback as to what can I do better, help me grow Dev Astrology to new heights. Put your comments in there, subscribe to my channel, and smash on that like button. Thank you. Om Namah Shivaya. Har Har Mahadev.